Hello and welcome to episode 81 of the video show. Today we're going to compare 3 different GoPros. This is because I've got the new Hero 5 Black and I want to see how it compares to my Hero 2, which was the first GoPro I got, and Ben's Hero 4 Black. Ben's helping me out by filming this. So we're going to compare it on a few things, such as how it shoots in low light, the highest frames per second and resolution it has, how they compare side by side, things like the battery life and things like that. We're going to go into that more, but let's start with the show. So the first thing that we're going to test it on is how it compares in low light. So we're going to shoot it in our studio room there with just one light on to see how the different GoPros work side by side. So this is the low light test with the Hero 2, Hero 4 Black and the Hero 5 Black. And you want to hear the sound through and the Hero 5 Black. So after watching that, I think although the Hero 2 is quite light, it is still really grainy. So out of 10, I'm going to give that a 4. And then going on to the Hero 4 Black, it looks a lot better. So I'm going to give it around a 7. And then the Hero 5 Black, a tiny bit better. Not much difference between the 4 and the 5. So I'm going to give it an 8 because it's slightly better, I think, in terms of the quality of the shot. So the next thing we're going to look at is the maximum frames per second it shoots in and the highest resolution. So on the Hero 2, the highest resolution it shoots in is 1080 at 30 frames per second, and the highest frames per second is 120 frames per second, but that's only at 480. So what should I give that out of 10? I'd say around about a 5? A 5. I'm going to give it a 5. Then we're looking at the Hero 4 Black, which shoots in 4K at 30 frames per second, and the highest frame rate is 240 frames, but it's at 480. So I think that's probably that's a lot better, obviously, than the Hero 2. So it's a big leap. Obviously, these came out a few years later, so I'm going to go. It's probably about a 7. And then onto the Hero 5 Black, it's 4K again at 30 frames per second, so no difference between the 4 and 5 there. But then the difference really comes in at the maximum frame rate is 240 frames per second, and it shoots in 720, which I think is really quite impressive. So I'm going to give that, can I give that an 8.5? I think that's quite good. So we're seeing a few differences here, not a lot of difference between the 4 and 5, but enough for the 5, I think, to be in the lead. So next, we're going to look at how they compare side by side when they're stuck on front of my car. Okay, so as you can see by the side-by-side comparison, the 5 and the 4 are a lot better than the 2. So just quickly, I'm going to sum that up by giving them a quick score out of 10. So the 2, I'm going to give around about a 4, so quite low. The 4 Black, I think, is around about another 7. And then the 5 Black, I'm going to give a 8. Just edging it. Not a lot between those two in terms of the side-by-side shot. It's depending on, well, you can sort of see what you can expect from those different shots. So next we're going to talk about the battery life, and I'm going to really talk about this in comparison in terms of how we've been using these and how much the battery have gone down. The 5 black has gone down pretty quickly, so on the quick route around on the car, the 5 black went down quite a lot. So in terms of battery life, I would give it probably about a 3. It's quite low on battery life, but that is because it's got a screen running, it's got Wi-Fi running to the app, and Bluetooth and location, GPS and all that kind of stuff. So it's got all sort of the bells and whistles to it. So you've really probably got to buy a few batteries with it if you're going to use it over a long period of time. It's very similar on the 4. It's probably slightly better, so I'm going to give that a 4 out of 10 in terms of battery life. And then the Hero 2, I've had this for quite a few years. I've got 3 batteries that I use quite regularly. I think the battery life is not great, it's not fantastic, but it's better than the 5 and the 4. So I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10. So yeah, not brilliant. So be aware that you've got to buy a number of batteries if you're going to buy a GoPro, if you're going to use it over an extended period of time. So in this section we're going to talk about how easy the GoPros are to use. I'm going to start with the Hero 2. So when I got this a few years ago, it's pretty easy to use, but the one thing I was thinking was, how the hell do I see what I'm shooting? Because there's no screen at the back, and it kind of felt like there should be a screen at the back as like an automatic part of the camera. But they're extra, you have to buy these extra, and I think you have to buy these extra for the 4 as well. But then when you get to the 5, if I unstick it from here, it's amazing because screen on the back, built in my view, is absolutely fantastic, and it's what the GoPro has been missing over the last few years. And then talking about the 4 and 5, you can use these through the GoPro app as well. Here you go. And it's really easy to connect to your GoPro, and then you can actually watch the GoPro footage through your phone as well. And you can use that on the 4 and 5, so it's a huge leap from the 2, where literally you're just pointing and guessing what the shot is at. So if we're going to go over to the board again and rate these out of 10. Where's my pen? Here. So in terms of usage, at the time the GoPro Hero 2 I thought was really good, really easy to use, but as time's gone on you kind of realise that it does need a screen built in as part of it. So I'm going to give, in terms of usage, for what it is, I'd say I give it a 5, but a generous 5. For what it is, it's really easy to use, really simple, but the fact that you can't see what you're shooting is a hindrance. And then I think the 4, pretty easy to use, but it is lacking the screen at the back, so I'm going to give that a 6. That's probably a bit of a harsh 6, really. And then the 5 black, in terms of using the screen, it's touch screen, so it's quite easy to use. I haven't had it very long, so it does take a bit of getting used to learn your way around the screen. The app works pretty well. Quite impressed by how easy the app is to use. So I'm going to give that. It is a bit of a leap, so I'm going to give that I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to change the 4 to a 6.5. I was being a bit harsh. So this particular test is all about price. So we're going to talk about how much we both spent on our GoPros, how much they are now, and also to give you an idea of the value for money that you can expect when you buy a GoPro. So firstly, looking at the Hero 2, I found one online for $99.99. You can't actually buy a brand new one now because it is quite old, but I remember spending around £200 for my GoPro when it was new. Just looking for the back pen, cut that out. So I think I'm going to give that around about a 4 for value for money, because although at the time I was pretty impressed with it, there are so many new GoPros out there now, such as the GoPro Session, which is better and a better price, and you can link it to the app. So I'd say forget about the Hero 2. Should we cross that out at this point? No, we're going to keep going to the end. But in terms of value for money, I'd just say don't bother, go look elsewhere for a GoPro. So looking at the Hero 4, we found one online for £299, but Ben got his for £349. I think that's pretty good value for money, so I'm going to give that around about a 7 again. And then looking at the Hero 5 Black, actually found one for £291.99, which is cheaper than the Hero 4 Black, and I bought mine for about £350. So value for money, it's less than the Hero 4 Black, so there's not a lot between these again. I'd say that's probably about a 9, comparing it to the 4 Black. Okay, so on to the features. Now, the Hero 2, I got this a few years ago, so the features are really, like what you see is what you get. There's not a lot on there. You've got no app, you've got no screen. It's really just, everything's on that camera. You've got quite a big, bulky, waterproof case. So the sound's not great. The picture quality comparing to these two isn't fantastic. So I'm gonna give that a 2 out of 10 in terms of features. And then Ben, you might have to help me a little bit on this. But the features on the 4 and the 5, there are small differences. Obviously the screen is the main one on the 5. Ben, shout some out.
No waterproof case.
So, so there's no waterproof case on the 5 Black, which really it helps it in terms of size and the bulkiness of it. And obviously in terms of sound as well, you've noticed earlier in the video that the sound on the 5 is a hell of a lot better than the sound on the 4. Ben, shout some more stuff out.
USB-C, faster charging.
So faster charging on the Hero 5. Anything else? Going on to the 4 and the 5 features, I think the 4, it's a little bit lacking behind in terms of the screen, so I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10. And then the features on the 5, I think an 8 out of 10 again. Finally, we're looking at the field of view. The Hero 2, you saw on the video earlier. I'm going to give that a 5 out of 10, and then I think it's equal between the 4 and 5. There's not a lot of difference. Should we give them both 8s? Okay, so looking at the final scores, the Hero 2, a meager 35. The Hero 4 Black 52.5 and the Hero 5 Black 60.5. So if you're going to spend around £200 or £100, invest your money in a GoPro Hero session, not a Hero 2, because they're quite outdated. And if you've got around £300 to spend, Hero 5 Black. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more of this type of video where we compare different types of cameras, different kinds of software, then don't forget to subscribe. We also answer questions about people's questions about video marketing and things like that, and go behind the scenes on a lot of our shoots. Also, I'd love you to take a look at our website videotoolkit.co.uk to see how you can start making your own videos to promote your business.